Hey everyone, welcome back. You better grab your drink and hold on tight because what we're about to get into today is wild. You will not believe the drama that has exploded again between 50 Cent and Vivica A. Fox. Yes, you heard that right. After more than 2 decades since their short-lived relationship, the back and forth between these two is still heating up, and 50 just responded again in true 50 Cent fashion. So don't you dare click away, because we're breaking down everything, from what Vivica said to how 50 clapped back to the whole messy history that refuses to stay buried. And trust me, it's not just about two exes, it's about ego, obsession, and a little thing called karma. So, here's how it all started this time. Vivica Fox was on stage at a women's event, speaking about relationships, healing, and warning women about the type of men they should avoid. Everything was going smoothly until she dropped one name that sent social media into a frenzy. She told women not to date 50 Cent. The moment she said his name, the crowd gasped, and everyone knew the shade was thick in the air. Vivica smiled, but tried to play it off like it wasn't that deep. She said she had learned to laugh about it and that she was in a better place now. But y'all, that tone, that look, told a different story. You could feel the history pouring out of her voice. Now, we all know Vivica Fox and 50 Cent have one of the most talked about celebrity relationships in the early 2000s. They were the power couple for a short time. Glamorous, loud, and totally Hollywood. But that love story crashed fast, and what was once red carpet smiles turned into public jabs, interviews, and years of unfinished business. And now, 22 years later, Vivica is still talking about it. You already know 50 Cent doesn't stay quiet when someone says his name. Within hours, 50 came through like only he can. He posted a picture of himself as Neo from The Matrix, holding out the red and blue pills with the caption, "Either way, I'ma have that A in The Matrix. You know I love me some you, girl, but dang, it's been 22 years, Vivica." And then he threw up that confused emoji, like even he can't believe this is still happening. That one post had the internet in stitches. People flooded the comments saying, "Not 50 trolling Vivica again, and she's been holding on for 22 years. The memes were endless. But y'all, here's where it gets deeper. Vivica wasn't just making a joke. She said something that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. She told women not to date 50 Cent and then went on to say it took her years to stop crying over him and start laughing again. Now think about that. Decades later, she's still talking about healing from 50 Cent. That's not just casual, that's emotional. And people picked up on it right away. Some say she's still hurt. Others say she's obsessed. Let's be real, this isn't the first time Vivica has brought up 50 Cent. She's mentioned him in interviews, red carpets, even reality shows. Remember when she went on Watch What Happens Live and admitted 50 was the love of her life? That clip alone sent shockwaves. And even though she's also thrown shade at him multiple times, every time she mentions him, she lights up in some kind of way. That's why people keep saying, Vivica isn't over him. And this latest interview just reignited everything. Social media detectives went wild. They pulled up old clips, memes, and comments. They reminded everyone that 50 once joked about Vivica still wanting him after all these years, saying, 17 years ago, we were together for 4 months, and she's still mad? Mama Doom Doom must be better than I thought. That's classic 50, turning pain into comedy, flipping the whole situation into a viral moment. And you can tell, even now, he's not bitter, he's laughing. But Vivica, on the other hand, seems stuck between hurt and humor. She says she's moved on, but every time 50's name comes up, it turns emotional. And you know who else people started bringing up again? Kevin Samuels. Because before he passed away, Kevin and Vivica had their own little feud. She shaded him after his death, saying it was karma, and it got a lot of backlash. Now, people are comparing her energy towards 50 and saying it's that same bitterness creeping back. Whether that's fair or not, it shows how people still view Vivica. Strong, beautiful, but maybe holding on to too much from the past. And the thing is, Vivica Fox isn't just any actress. She's a legend. From Set It Off to Two Can Play That Game to Independence Day, she's done it all. But lately, her name pops up more for drama than movies. And that's the sad part. She's talented, accomplished, respected, But when her name trends, it's because of 50 Cent. It's like she can't escape that shadow. Now, 50 Cent, on the other hand, has evolved in so many ways. Curtis Jackson is not the same 50 Cent from the early 2000s. He's a businessman, producer, actor, and one of the smartest minds in entertainment. From Power to BMF, he's built an empire. He's in a relationship, he's winning awards, he's producing hit after hit. But even with all that success, he still has that same 50 Cent energy. Witty, savage, and ready with the perfect comeback. That's why fans love him. He's always 10 steps ahead in the game of trolling. Now, let's pause for a second, because if you've made it this far, you already know this story is way more than gossip. It's about what happens when love turns to pride, when pain turns into a brand, and when two powerful people can't let go of the past. But don't go anywhere, because the next part is where things really heat up. We're going to get into what this says about relationships, fame, and why this kind of energy keeps coming back no matter how much time passes. So, when Vivica told women not to date 50 Cent, she was giving advice, but it sounded personal. She said she had to laugh to keep from crying. That's deep. It shows that no matter how strong someone seems, heartbreak can leave a permanent mark. And that's something a lot of people, especially women, connected to. But others felt like, after all this time, maybe it's time to let it go. And that's where the debate started. People began arguing online. Some defended Vivica, saying she's just speaking her truth. Others said she's still bitter. But one thing's for sure, everyone was talking. Even celebrities weighed in, calling it messy, unnecessary, or just plain entertaining. You already know when 50 Cent is involved, the blogs stay busy. But y'all, there's another layer to this. Vivica's comments also brought back that whole conversation Kevin Samuels used to have about relationships, modern women, and accountability. He used to say that some people, both men and women, get stuck in the past, blaming others for what went wrong. And that's what many fans think Vivica is doing, holding on to something that should have been released a long time ago. Let's not forget, 50 and Vivica dated for just a few months. That's what's crazy. 4 months turned into 22 years of headlines. That means whatever went down between them must have been intense. Maybe it was passion, maybe it was pain, but whatever it was, it left a permanent mark on both of them. And now, if you watch 50 Cent over the years, he's joked about it, but he's also shown respect in his own way. He never denies that he and Vivica had something special. He just doesn't take it as seriously anymore, and that's the difference. Vivica talks with emotion, 50 talks with humor. It's like she's still in that story, and he's already turned the page. But here's what really got people talking. Vivica said she's finally ready to settle down, open to love again, even to marriage. She said she's tired of crying and wants to laugh again. And that's beautiful. But then she brings up 50 Cent in the same breath. People were like, girl, how are you going to move on if you keep mentioning him? And honestly, that's the truth. You can't heal from someone you still talk about every time you get a mic. And the crowd reaction said it all. Some people cheered, others looked uncomfortable. Because it's clear, the love and pain between Vivica and 50 still lingers. It's the kind of bond that fame couldn't erase. And 50 knows that. That's why his response wasn't angry, it was playful. He doesn't need to fight her, he just drops one post and the internet handles the rest. But let's talk about what that says about him. 50 Cent has built his whole career on control, controlling his image, his message, his brand. He doesn't let people dictate the narrative. So when Vivica tried to shade him, he turned it into content. He made people laugh, and that's why he always wins these moments. Because while others react emotionally, he reacts strategically. That's pure 50.
And let's be honest, part of the reason this keeps happening is because people love it. They love seeing 50 clap back. They love seeing Vivica respond. It's like a never-ending show. But beneath the entertainment, there's a lesson about closure. If you don't close a chapter, it'll keep reopening on its own. Now, if you're still watching, shout out to you because we're just getting to the best part. Let's talk about how this story connects to today's dating culture. Vivica's advice was to warn women not to date certain men, especially rappers or entertainers. And that started a whole conversation online about women dating high-profile men, the risks, and the heartbreak that comes with it. Some agreed with Vivica, saying these men are too focused on fame and money to commit. Others said that's not fair, that not all rappers are the same. And honestly, that's true. There are rappers out there with families, wives, and stable lives. But because of a few, they all get judged. That's what one of the commentators in the viral clip said too, that rappers aren't all the same. Some are faithful, some live that rock star lifestyle, and some just make mistakes like everyone else. But Vivica's message painted with a broad brush, and that's what sparked debate. It's also interesting how age plays into this. Vivica is now 60 and still thriving, still beautiful, still active in Hollywood. But in interviews, she's been honest about wanting love and companionship again. She said she's open to romance, maybe even marriage. And you can't blame her. Everyone deserves love. But people are saying, if you keep talking about your ex, how can a new man step in comfortably? That's real talk. And 50 Cent? He's with Cuban Link now, and they've had their own drama too. Remember when Vivica threw shade at Cuban Online and the two exchanged words? That made it clear. Vivica still feels a certain way, and you can't deny that her energy toward 50 always comes with that mix of love and anger. But maybe this whole situation is bigger than just two exes. Maybe it's about learning to let go with grace. Because at the end of the day, both Vivica Fox and 50 Cent are icons in their own right. They both made history in their fields. They both inspired millions. But when you hold on to old wounds, no amount of success can fill that space. So here's the thing. Fans are split. Some are defending Vivica, saying she's being real, raw, and honest. Others are saying she's embarrassing herself by bringing him up again. But you know what? Either way, she's trending. Either way, people are talking. And maybe that's part of it too. In a world where attention equals currency, controversy keeps you relevant. And for 50, this is just another day at the office. The man thrives on trolling. He built his social media empire on witty comebacks. So when he posted that Matrix picture, it wasn't just a joke. It was a masterclass in branding. He reminded everyone who he is without even saying much. That's how you know you've got power, when one meme can break the internet. But here's the question everyone's been asking. Why can't Vivica let go? Is it because she truly loved him that deeply? Or because that relationship symbolizes something bigger in her life? Maybe it represents the one that got away, the love that could have been. Because let's be honest, we all have that one person we wish had worked out differently. And for Vivica, that person seems to be 50 Cent. Now, don't go anywhere because we're wrapping this up with a look at how this whole thing might finally end. Will Vivica finally stop mentioning 50 Cent's name? Will 50 take another playful shot at her again? Or will they finally sit down, face to face, and squash it for good? Imagine that, a one-on-one interview after all these years. That would break the internet. Until then, this saga continues. The story of Vivica Fox and 50 Cent. Love, heartbreak, laughter, and a whole lot of pettiness. Two strong personalities who can't seem to exist without crossing paths. And maybe that's what makes them unforgettable. Because no matter how much time passes, when these two collide, it's pure entertainment. So make sure you watch till the very end, because if history has taught us anything, there will always be another twist. Maybe another post, another interview, another comment, and we'll be right here, sipping the tea, breaking it down for you, because this isn't just celebrity drama. It's a story about emotions, fame, and how the past never really stays in the past. And that's why people can't stop watching. Because deep down, it's not just about 50 Cent or Vivica Fox. It's about all of us. The pain, the pride, the laughter, and the lessons. And as 50 said, it's been 22 years. But some stories just don't fade. Now, listen, y'all. Just when you thought things couldn't get more heated, the street started whispering about Vivica finally responding. And when she did, she did not hold back. She went on Cocktails with Queens and made it clear that she's not the one to play with. She said, and I quote, "Don't ever forget, I taught him a few things, and one of them was how to level up." Now, fans caught that instantly. Was that shade? Or was that a reminder that she helped 50 Cent become the mogul he is today? But see, the thing about 50, he doesn't let anyone get the last word. He hopped on IG, posted a clip from one of her old movies with a caption that said, "Yeah, I remember that time. You were still in my DMs." Boom! Internet exploded. Again. Now, let's pause here for a second because I want y'all to think about something. Every time 50 Cent gets into something, he always wins the internet. Not because he's right, but because he's louder, funnier, and faster. And Vivica? She plays the long game. She doesn't jump at every bait, but when she strikes, it's with class and precision. And that's exactly what fans love about her. She's Hollywood royalty with street smarts, and that's a combination you can't beat. Now, shifting gears just a bit, there's another player in this whole 50 Cent universe that people forget about, and that's the late Kevin Samuels. Before he passed, Kevin actually spoke on 50 Cent in one of his live streams. He said, "See, that's a man who controls his narrative. He doesn't let the media tell his story." And y'all, he was right, because 50 has built an entire empire on controlling perception, power, BMF, G-Unit, even trolling on IG. It's all about power moves. Every post, every clapback, every meme, it's strategy. But now, here's where it gets even deeper. 50 recently started dropping hints about new TV projects, including one that, according to insiders, could be loosely based on his real-life relationships and the way fame can destroy love. Eyes! Fans immediately connected the dots. Could this be about him and Vivica? And if that's true, y'all, then Vivica might be about to see her own love story turned into primetime entertainment. And knowing 50, he'll make sure it's told his way. Let's not forget, this is the same man who turned his beefs into ratings gold. From Ja Rule to Rick Ross, even Floyd Mayweather, every feud became content. And when it comes to Vivica, well, this one's personal, because she's not a rapper or an athlete. She's someone who knew him before the mogul, before the champagne deals, before the Power franchise. She knew Curtis Jackson. And maybe that's why this tension never really fades. It's that unresolved energy between two people who once had love, but now only have microphones and memories. Now, let's pivot for a second because Kevin Samuels' name has been coming up again, especially after 50 reposted an old clip of Kevin saying, "Men don't argue with women, they make moves." Fans went wild. Some said he was paying tribute, others said he was using Kevin's words to shade Vivica. But y'all, the real takeaway here is how the narrative of power and image plays out in today's celebrity world. These aren't just gossip headlines. These are business moves, branding wars, and legacy plays. And speaking of legacy, let's talk about how Vivica flipped this whole situation into motivation. Because while people were laughing at her emotional interviews years ago, she kept booking roles, kept hosting, kept showing up red carpet ready and unbothered. Fast forward to now, and she's not the woman crying on camera anymore. She's the woman running production meetings, mentoring young black actresses, and reminding the world, you can't cancel a queen who built her own throne. And you know what's crazy? Even 50 admitted once in a 2021 interview that Vivica's always going to be part of my story. Boom! That's all the confirmation we needed. No matter the beef, no matter the shade, there's respect underneath it all. But let's not stop here because there's still one more layer. The fans. Social media has turned this into a whole 50 versus Vivica cinematic universe. People making edits, reaction videos, even AI recreations of their old red carpet moments. Like, y'all, it's wild. One fan wrote, "They're like the Jay-Z and Beyonce that never made it." Another said, "If 50 Cent and Vivica Fox ever reunite, the internet would literally break." So here's the question for y'all watching right now. Do you think this is all entertainment and strategy? Or is there still something real between them? Because love doesn't always fade, it just sometimes transforms into headlines, hashtags, and history.